It's funny how a movie can carry a memory around for decades. And it's not so much how big a blockbuster movie it was, or how scary or funny the movie was. It's about who you watched it with. The Saviors of Soul. The Commitments. The Commitments. I can just back and get out of the shadow. Just got done watching a very special movie, one I love. And the reason I like it is because of the memory it brings. It's The Commitments. Alan Parker film. I think it came out in 1991. On LASERDISC, right? On LASERDISC. Growing up, we did not have LASERDISC. We had VHS. And then we got DVD. And the reason why we didn't have LASERDISC is because when this came out at Tower Records, it was $39.95. That's a lot of money for a movie back then. So I got this one at Goodwill for $5. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5 years. Anyway, Alan Parker film. He did Pink Floyd's The Wall. I remember watching that in high school. That was awesome. Blew my mind. And another good one that I remember watching with my dad, Mississippi Burning, which makes a cameo in this movie as well. And they just dropped the name of the movie in there. Yeah. Great cast. What I learned about when they cast this movie is they were more concerned that the actors knew how to play their musical instruments and sing more than they could act. So they wanted musicians. And just a real quick summary of the film. This guy, who's that? Robert Arkins. He's the main dude, and he wants to manage a band. And so he sees some of his friends that are in shitty bands, and he wants to bring soul to Ireland, and he calls it Dublin Soul. And he puts together this ragtag group of musicians, and they're very talented together. Each of them on their own, not so much, but when you bring this group together, it's magic. And some of you guys know what that's like. I know what that's like. I was in a band myself, and it was amazing. We were amazing. We thought we were amazing. I guess that's how I should put it. But it's true. These guys all together, they are amazing. But of course, there's egos and everything that goes along with managing a however many piece band. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 10 people in this band. It's like a soul revival. 3 backup singer ladies, sax, trumpet, bass, guitar, piano, drums, lead singer, and the lead singer, Andrew Strong. When they filmed this, he was like 15 or 16 years old, and he has an amazing voice. It is amazing. And I remember watching it, so this came out in 91. I didn't watch it in the theater for sure. My dad must have brought it home on VHS. Probably in like 93 or 94. And I remember him saying like, wow, this guy's voice is amazing. And I think he brought home the CD, because this was released as a CD, the soundtrack. And I remember listening to the songs, and some of these tracks on here are my favorite versions of these songs. These are classics. So they were basically like a cover band, to get back to the story here. And they were just playing all the hits around Ireland. And it's basically like they're trying to get up there and play a show with Wilson Pickett. And before that happens, the band just falls apart because of all the nonsense and everything that goes along with being in a band. And he finally just gives up, and that's it. That's what happened. Something like that. The singer has like the biggest ego, and now he thinks everyone's there to like back him up, and everything just falls apart. Just spectacularly falls apart. And this is funny, the last paragraph here. But even as personal passions threaten to derail the band's dazzling success, each member is unavoidably altered by the experience of creating their remarkable music, and by the equally astonishing experience of seeing their street-born dreams made real each night. As the spotlight flash on, the crowd comes to life, and the loudspeakers thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome The Commitments. That's the movie in a nutshell, basically. It's that last paragraph. It's beautifully shot, obviously shot on film. There's like 2 or 3 tracks where they're singing the whole song. And it's so beautiful. The composition, the lighting of the film. One standout track from that movie and the soundtrack is they cover Dark End of the Street. Now, I had always heard that song because of my band playing in country rock circles. We always listened to the Burrito Brothers version of that song, or the Graham Parsons version. This has got to be my favorite version. It's amazing. And that scene where they sing the whole song. It's pretty cool. It's beautiful. It's beautifully lit. And then the composition is like, you've got the frame, and then it's like shooting down a fence line. The singer's here on the left side of the frame, or over here for you guys, and then the 3 backup singer ladies, and so it's shot right down that line, focus on the singer, and then they just kind of pull focus to the backup singers. They'll come back, and it's like beautifully backlit. It just looks amazing, and then it just sounds awesome. Great scene, great track. But yeah, Andrew Strong, incredible voice, 16 years old playing that, or 16 years old singing that, singing with that voice. It's powerful. He's amazing, an amazing voice. They cover Try a Little Tenderness in its whole. Again, great singers. They're all incredible performers. And so it's kind of like a music video. Everything's captured. A little bit of B-roll with behind the scenes and what's going on in the bar or whatever. But just an incredible performance by these guys. Try a Little Tenderness. And yeah, Andrew Strong's vocals, they're just incredible. And oddly enough, like, nobody went on to do any other films that were huge, except for the guitar player. You'll recognize him. That's Glenn Hansard. He was in a movie once. I remember seeing it a long time ago, and it blew my mind. And I'm surprised that I never picked up the film to watch it again. I would love to see it again. It has never come across streaming services, or I've never seen it secondhand or whatever. When I see it, I'll get it. But he was in that movie, and I think that got him an Oscar. Because from there, and my memory's really vague on this, that started a legitimate music project. And they started performing together for many years as that project. And they were all over the place. I remember seeing them in Portland, Oregon. Maybe he got Grammys out of that too. I should have been more prepared. Anyway, and then the dad, I can't remember his name. You'll see him in a lot of films, and he was in Star Trek. He was like one of the chief engineers, something like that. The chief engineer, or very Irish looking, curly redhead. But anyway. It's funny how a movie can carry a memory around for decades. It doesn't matter if the movie was a huge blockbuster hit, or if it was like a really scary horror movie, or it was super funny, comedy, whatever. None of that matters. It's who you watch it with that stick with you the most. With this movie, I remember watching it with my dad. Every time I see this cover, hear one of these songs, or watch the movie, I think of my dad. And I remember the times we watched it together. That's funny how that is. That's senses, right? Smells, certain sounds. And movies, man. Movies. So yeah, I don't know if this is as much as a movie review as it is just kind of reflecting on my experience with the movie. I love hearing about people's experiences. I'm not very good at movie reviews. Like, I'm not the guy. I'm not a critic, okay? I like everything. I need to stop clicking this pen. I like everything. Like, I'm very easy to please. So I'm not going to necessarily be doing like movie reviews, but just like talking about them and why I like them and what it means to me. Like, especially if it's on LASERDISC, I've seen it before, and maybe I'll tell you about my experience and who I watched it with or whatever. I mean, come on, it's either your family or your friends or your girlfriend or your wife. Don't forget you. Yeah, we never had LASERDISC. Here's a story about LASERDISC, and I'll probably tell this story a few times whenever I talk about these LASERDISC movies. But I remember my dad brought us to his coworker's house because he got this new LASERDISC player, and this was probably around the same time, 91. And I remember we watched, oh shoot, what did we watch? Oh yeah, oh baby's waking up. I remember we watched Fleetwood Mac, The Dance, and it was a live concert. And so the thing about LASERDISC, which is superior to DVD, but not so much Blu-ray and 4K anymore, but at the time, LASERDISC had better sound, right? Uncompressed sound. And DVDs had compressed sound. It wasn't as rich. And so that live performance of Fleetwood Mac, uh-oh, gotta take care of the baby. It sounded amazing. Let's see, maybe he just needs a little rockin', a little rock and rollin'. That might give me a couple more minutes. Have to wrap it up. Anyway, yeah, the first LASERDISC we saw was Fleetwood Mac, The Dance, a live performance, and the sound was amazing. And I remember he showed us the price. It was like $50, like $50 for a movie. Man, I remember when we first got our CD player. I think it was from the same guy. Like, he must have bought a brand new, like, what were they, 5-disc CD changers, something like that. And so he gave us the single disc Sony, which was better, but whatever. So he gave that to us. My dad brought it home. And we didn't even have a CD. And so we're like, Dad's like, hey, let's go to Fred Meyer, let's go get a CD. Yeah, Dad, let's go. And this was probably about same time, early 90s. And so we went and bought a CD. He's like, what CD should we get? And man, it was almost like no question. We're getting the Beatles. And we got Rubber Soul. We brought it home, and man, we put it in there, and it sounded amazing. And you can just skip to the next track. We could just go back. There was no fast forwarding or rewinding or any of that. And it was so clear, clean. The Beatles, Rubber Soul. Yeah, it's funny. So every time I hear that record, I remember when we got the CD player. That was our first CD. Anyway, baby's waking up. This is a good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You know, obviously it means something to me that's not going to mean the same thing to you guys. But it's worth watching. Yeah, so drop a comment below. Tell me what you think of the movie. And we'll do it again sometime. We'll do another movie. Probably another LASERDISC. I got some VHS. I got all sorts of stuff. We'll see you guys next time. Later.